second day in a row. Here we are at the lovely and historic Empire Arts Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Last time I was out in the seats, and now I can give you a better full view. Look at our beautiful auditorium. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We had day 2 of set painting. So I thought I would give you a fun little update so you can see things come together. Because I know yesterday when we left it, we'd gotten a lot done, but somehow it didn't look like a lot done. And so we'd done a lot of the fiddlier stuff. And so now we got into more of the big, like flat surfaces that needed to be painted. And we've got our beds in place. And then tomorrow, once everything is dry, I think I've got paint right on my lip. Hello, Dawn. Thanks for joining. I've got yellow paint. I've probably got yellow paint all over. Hello, Mama Champagne. Hello, Dawn. Yes, so we got more painting done. And so now we're going to walk around and I'm going to show you where we're at. No, I'm at the Empire Art Center. I'm doing another show. So it opens this Thursday. We are in Tech Week Chaos. It's called the Nut Lab and it's running February 12th through the 19th. No. 12, 13, 14, 15, 12th through the 15th, 16, 17, and then the 19th through the 21st. Days are hard. Hello, Dion. How's it going? At the space shift ends soon. Hello. Thanks for joining us while you're there. Hello. Yes. So we are going to walk around and look a little bit. I think the bushes were done yesterday, but I just love them. So we're going to look at them again. Because we have our fabulous bushes for the outside scene. And then this is the part, so this is also the part where I start to look and I'm like, have I made terrible choices? Because I want everything to look a little bit, this is our shower. So I was painting this yesterday and so you can see the like turquoise that's very like pool, like how pools are always painted like that turquoisey kind of blue. And then I was just looking through the paint colors that were available in the basement. And there was this yellow. There was like a lighter yellow, which is what I kind of had more in mind. But there wasn't enough of it. It was almost empty. And so there was this like bright marigold yellow. And I'm trying to decide if I hate it. We might do some sort of like wash on it just to kind of darken it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more worn. Because I'm worried. I know that turquoise is very like pool shower kind of coated, but I'm worried that the turquoise with the yellow, does it become like Carnival or is it like industrial mustard? Because there's only a flash. Like you don't see much of the turquoise. The thing is going to be at an angle. There's going to be a shower curtain in there. And then I think once I see it with the other pieces, because there's also a set of lockers that are kind of like a beige. And then we got our bench painted. Our bench is kind of this caramel brown. So I thought with all of the very cool toned, like we've got that light institutional green. We've got lots of gray. We've got our platforms are now painted white. This is the bedding. So these are the little like wool, scratchy wool blankets that we got for the beds. So it's very cool tone. So I wanted a little bit more warmth in the locker room, especially because there are shenanigans there that I wanted to set it apart from the rest of the Nut Lab. And so I think it's going to grow on me. And I think once I see it all together with the other set pieces, I will come around. But I am as yet, I don't hate it, but I'm questioning. And I need to just go with my instincts. I should have learned that by now, that like I need to just go with my instincts. I think it'll be fine. And if we have to, we will rough it up a little bit. But we got our bunk beds are painted. And so, yeah, we didn't paint the tops because we're going to put bedding on them. So, and then there again is our fabulous observation booth with our mirror. We are going to trim that out. We're going to put like a black baseboard along the bottom. And we're going to do some sort of like black trim around the outside of the window just to make it look a little bit more finished. But other than that, this is kind of the update. So yeah, we have our little corners. These little corners, this is the problem. I'm not good with spatial things, and I really thought these were going to be bigger. I thought they would have more of an impact. And now that I look at them, I'm like, oh, yeah, we should have made them much bigger. They're a little bit weird. They're a little bit odd. But again, I think that's okay. I think that for the theme of this show, I think if people look at them and they're like, that's weird, that's kind of what I want. I'm kind of okay with that. So we painted, our little brown table is now gray. And yeah, so we got a lot of stuff done. They got the sides painted. The sides don't have to be painted very well because nobody sees them, but I make theater for like 3 people. I make theater for the people who are going to notice the weird little Easter eggs that I build in. And then I also make it for the people who are like me, who, if you left that, even though it's on the side, it's all the way to the back, 3 people would notice if that was not painted. And I'm one of those people. So I'm like, I'm always doing it for those people. I'm always trying it for those people. Today, since you came back for a second little tour, I'm going to show you one of our fish. So when we came back to the prop area yesterday, so again, we're heading backstage, and I'm going to show you one of our fish. So these are our, I don't want to give away too much of the show, but I do want to show you just this cute thing. These were made by Angie. So these are our sea creatures, and look at this fabulous angelfish with these big like filler lips. I just crack up every time I see this fish. Let me set it down against the crab. So that is Angie's work. She did the painting. I sent her a couple of reference photos, and that is the angelfish that she came up with. And the reason why it has big fishy lips like that is because of there's a line in the show. And so yeah, so Angie, she took a picture of a real angelfish. So I sent her a picture of a real angelfish, and she was able to take that and turn it into this cartoony fish that's got big lips. Look at those lips. That is so phenomenal. I love that. Oh, I can't, every time I see those sea creatures, I just laugh. So again, here's our prop table. We added there's going to be a fun little moment. Again, it's going to be happening when things are happening elsewhere on the stage. But there is a little Playboy that's going to make a small appearance. Because again, this is kind of a sexy little comedy. And then these are the lockers. So these, I think we showed these yesterday, but so that's why I was like the yellow. I think once I see it with these lockers and with that kind of caramel brown bench, I think the like warm tones of that and then contrasted with the turquoise of the shower, I think is going to give me exactly what I want from that. But I just wasn't sure. I just am, sometimes I rethink things, but oh, there's Kathy again. She was here. Hello, our playwright, and helping out with all the goodies. And so we're packing up medical supplies. We are not a sterile medical facility. We have things just like shoved on a tray. So we're going to organize those a little bit, and yeah, and then we're going to fill up all these seats. I'm confident. I believe it. I think it's going to happen. It may not, because we live in North Dakota. It's not a musical. All right. So yeah, so that is day 2 progress. Let me come over here. Here's our little podium. Our doctor does give a couple of little conference presentations at different points in the show. So there are a couple moments where she's going to be here at this podium giving a little talk about what it is that she's studying and all of that. And yeah, then our men's dorm room, our observation booth. So there's something about this, a little bit less now that it's green, but there was something about it. I have started to refer to this as the lesbian icebox, because for some reason, it reminds me of like a big industrial walk-in freezer. And so I think of it as the lesbian icebox. But there's the women's dorm, and then our movable shower piece. So that is our painting for today. Let me get back to my super comfortable plastic chair. Yeah, so that is it. Yeah, we got a lot done today. Very exciting. We had a little bit of help, and everybody was knocking it out really fast, so it didn't take us very long at all. And yeah, so if you are around, Mama Champagne is coming to the show the second week, so she's going to be there. She's coming to town when we have the show the 19th through the 21st. So yeah, You could come see it and meet Mama Champagne if you're in the Grand Forks area. Or if you want to see it the first week, we are also going to have 4 fabulous performances the first week from the 12th through the 15th. Yep, 12th through the 15th. That's 4 days. We're at that point. We're at that point in the production where I have very few brain cells left, and they're starting to quarrel. And so sometimes I just get overwhelmed very easily. I was picking out, so I took the lid off the yellow paint because I wanted to see if it looked like it was going to be the right color. And the people around were sort of talking about something, and I just sort of short-circuited, and I just sort of stood there holding the can to the paint can. And I didn't ask anybody any questions because I was trying to see like if they thought it would look all right or if they thought it would look weird. But everybody was already talking, and so I just sort of short-circuited and just stood there with a paint can lid for like 3 minutes, just like looked around. Oh, my tiny little brain is taxed. Yeah, the last show, sometimes things get a little wild and woolly on the last show. That can sometimes happen during productions because people know that it's coming to an end. And they fully like settled into it, and then as they like have settled in and they know the stuff and they know the routine, sometimes they get a little playful, a little bit frisky on the last night. So yeah, so it's a good time. I love community theater and I love to watch it. A lot of times, just as somebody who's done community theater for a long time, like I think that people put on great shows. I do like to see it the second week if I can, rather than the first week, because I think that first week you're still kind of like getting in the groove. Tech is so much because you're starting to work in the sound, you're starting to work in the lights, you're starting to work in the costumes, you're starting to bring in all of those technical aspects that I talked about this yesterday, and this is absolutely a hill I will die on, is that like, you have to care as much about the technical aspects of theater as the acting parts of theater, or you're just not making good theater. Sorry, not sorry. I know that that's controversial yet brave to say, but I think that if you don't pay attention to the technical aspects, and people don't have to like them, people don't have to think that it's good, but it's better to make bad choices, but make choices, than to just be like, oh, I don't really care about that, just slap whatever. That's what I don't like. I don't like when things feel like they're slapdash, because I've been to a lot of shows where sometimes it feels like there are different shows happening at the same time. Like sometimes the set feels like it's giving me a different show than the actors. Sometimes different groups of actors feel like they're giving me different shows. And so I am snarky and salty. And so that's why if you go to janessaj.com, I do have a tab called the Salty Dramaturge, where I do occasionally review theater. I did a lot of theater reviews a long time ago on my website, and I stopped doing it because I love theater, and I love reviewing theater. I love watching theater. I love being part of theater. And I think that, like, how do we say this? I understand that every production, everybody is putting their like blood, sweat, and tears into it. They care about it. They love it. And so sometimes any sort of feedback, regardless of how it is positioned or intentioned, is unwelcome. And I understand that. I sort of feel like, that's something that I sort of live by just in how like people interact, is something that I've started to think about, is like any, like people, they're just, I just want to give you advice, or I just want to do this. And it's like any how does it go? Any unwelcome advice is criticism, or like any unasked for advice is criticism. I saw a meme that said that, and it just kind of blew my mind, man. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, if you just are like, oh, this would be unsolicited. That's what I'm looking for. Any unsolicited feedback is criticism. And I think there is something to that. And so I think that sometimes, with the idea of like a reviewer, I think sometimes people see that as like unsolicited advice. And it's like, that's not exactly what a review is. And I always tried to make it very clear in anything that I was writing about or whatever, that my goal is never to discourage people from seeing live theater. I could hate a show, and I have hated a show. There have been times where I hated a show. And but even if I hate a show, even if I think a show is terrible, even if I think it's not done well, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to it doesn't mean that I'm not going to encourage people to go see it, because not everything is for me, right? It's just like with everything else that we talk about. It's the same thing with makeup. It's the same thing with all of this other stuff, is that not everything is for me, and not everything has to be for me. And so the same is true with theater. Like sometimes there's things I just don't like, or things that I don't think were done well. But that doesn't mean, and that's why I think it's important to make those choices, because then if some smart mouth reviewer like me comes along and says, I don't like this, I don't like this, if that was an intentional choice that you made, you can just say, well, I saw it differently. This is the world I was creating. This is what I chose to do. But if you're not thinking about the technical stuff and you're just like, oh, whatever, just take care of it, just whatever, and then somebody criticizes it, it's like, well, then, yeah, I mean, that's fair criticism, and you can't really refute that because you didn't think about it. It wasn't part of your process. It wasn't part of your like thought process. What is reflected in my, oh, is that me reflected in my glasses? I look very yellow. It's very SpongeBob. But yeah, so I just think that you have to be, so I stopped reviewing because I know a lot of people in the local theater community, and I just sometimes, I felt like people didn't always want to receive the reviews in the way that I intended. I don't know if they thought that I was never mean-spirited. Anybody who read my old, but sometimes I would be like, oh, this was not a great choice. There were a couple moments where I saw something that really kind of like lit a fire, and I was certainly a little bit salty. But most of the time, I just am like, I'm going to give my perspective. I'm going to give my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. And so now and I also am not like a very good traditional reviewer, because I know that was something that somebody had mentioned to me, of like, if you're doing a review, like that you should mention every single actor and give them a little line in the thing or whatever. And I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that every person, if somebody didn't strike me in a way that I wanted to write about them, I wasn't just doing theater reviews just to do them. I was doing them to write about theater and to write about the things in a show that inspired me or challenged me or delighted me or whatever the emotion is. And so some characters didn't do that, and that's fine, because those characters then will like delight and surprise and challenge other people. Every person in the audience is going to have different things that they respond to and that they cling to. And my lip is so dry. Sorry, I keep looking at my lip in the camera too. I need to do a lip scrub really bad. It's winter in North Dakota. It is what it is. But yeah, and so I think that sometimes people were not always excited to see that a new review had come up on justnessj.com. Let's say that. Because there were a couple times, let me tell you, and I have since, the person that I wrote it about, I didn't know at the time. It was not somebody that I knew, that I was familiar with, made some choices in a show that really relied on very, very like lowbrow, very simple stereotypes of gay men as like the sissy character. And it was not done very intentionally. It was not done very thoughtfully. And I did not appreciate it. And I was very clear in the review, because it was somebody who, as far as I know, I don't know their lives. I've met them since. And as far as I know, they are heterosexual. They are cisgender. And so it was just something, as a queer person, viewing the choices that were made and the way they were implemented, I did not appreciate. And I also was very clear that it was something that I felt the director should have been paying attention to. Hello, Vic. How's it going? Hello, Crystalline. Hello, welcome. Yes, we're talking theater nerd stuff again. But yeah, so he just made some choices that I felt were questionable. And I called it out. Hello, strawberries. And so, yeah, I didn't like it. And so I was very clear in my review that, like, I think we're past that, right? Like, in the year of our Lord, whatever it was, 2019, whatever, like, are we still doing this? Are we still doing that? And so I was very clear, like, think about these kind of choices before you make them. And like I said, I've since met the person who did it, and I was spoiler alert, if you remember when I was talking about Dala Kavanaugh from the fundraiser show this past summer, I met him through that and got to know him. And he's actually very nice and very thoughtful. And, it was just something that at the time I was like, not sure how I feel about this. Hello, Birdie. Hello, welcome. We did a little tour of the set. I can flip it around and show everybody who's coming in now. We had day 2 of painting for the Nut Lab. So everything is kind of scattered around, but you can see that things are starting to look a little bit more finished. We just have a few more details. We have to add bedding to the beds, because we didn't obviously paint the tops of them. We have to put some trim and a baseboard onto our observation booth, more bedding over there, and then our shower. So this is in Grand Forks, North Dakota. This is the Empire Arts Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Here's our beautiful auditorium. It's a historic site in Grand Forks, has been many things over the years, and is now an arts center. And so our show, The Nut Lab, opens up this week. It opens on Thursday, and it runs Thursday through Sunday, and next week Thursday through Saturday. So for anybody who's watching who may be in the Grand Forks area, if you like a matinee, if you like to get there early, get out early, have the rest of your night to yourself, we do have one matinee. So on the 15th. I don't know why I can't remember those dates, but Sunday the 15th, we do have a 2 p.m. matinee. Otherwise, all of the shows are at 7 p.m. Thursday through Saturday for the next 2 weeks. So so it is called The Nut Lab. It's written by Kathy Kudell King, who is the managing artistic director at the Empire. And so the show is about 4 people who, it's called the Nut Lab, and that comes from the University of North Dakota has a human nutrition lab, and they call it the Nut Lab. And so they do nutrition studies where people move in, and it's a residential study. And so they study different things about food and nutrition and that kind of stuff. And you live there and they control your food. And so it's a really funny, a little bit sexy comedy of these 4 people who all come to the Nut Lab for different reasons. So we've got Bill, who is a gambler who has maybe gotten in a little bit of trouble with a loan shark. We've got Jenny, who is a psychology student who is using it to pay for college. And as a psychology student, there may be some odd things with her personality that need to be diagnosed. We've got Walleye, who is a beach bum, who comes in and he finances his beach bum lifestyle he hitchhikes to the Nut Lab, does a study, makes the money, and then goes and smokes pot and lives on the beach and does the whole thing. And then we have Lenora, who is married for 33 years and has decided she needs a break. And so she just up and finds an ad on Facebook and decides she's going to come do this, get away from her husband and be here for 8 weeks and try to figure out her life and what happened to her since she got married, what happened to the woman she used to be. So it's a lot of fun. We've got our 4 study participants. We have Dr. von Schlotzenberger, who is our German scientist who is in charge of the lab. And we have her assistant, Brianna, who is going to be, she's kind of quirky, she's kind of fun. And then we have Greeley, who's one of the orderlies, and he maybe has a little bit of a crush on Jenny. He's been seeing her when she comes for the studies. And then Nurse Jean, who is our... so with the show, there's enough references to things like Facebook and stuff that's newer that we couldn't really set it in the 90s, but I made sure that as we were getting stuff to dress the set when we were looking at costumes, we're using the 90s as our inspiration point. We're using it as kind of our visual reference point. So it's not set in the 90s, but there's a lot of very clear 90s references that are going to be in the costumes and in things. And Jean is probably the best one of that because she is always in scrubs and she always has a flannel tied around her waist. As somebody who was in high school in the early to mid 90s, when Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and Hole and Pearl Jam and all of that, like we all had flannels tied around our waist. So Nurse Jean has a different flannel every single time she comes on stage. She's got a blunt bob, like a blunt bang wig. She's got kind of black, very goth hair. It is not a musical. But people should still come and see it. That's Kathy's like, we're not going to sell it. Well, and this is a big theater anyway, so like it's very rare for a lot of shows to sell out here. But she's like, if we get a certain number, we'll be all right. I was like, I think there's going to be a lot. And she's like, there's no music in it. But even if there's no music, people should come see it because it is so funny. If you just need a laugh, this is so great too. Yeah, I am Gen X. I'm here for it. Represent. So Nurse Jean, and then we have a mystery person who may show up at some point during the show. So that's maybe a little fun thing. We're gonna have a couple cameos. I'm gonna make a little cameo. There's a scene where we go outside to a park. I'm gonna make a little cameo. Our stage manager is gonna make a cameo, and we're just gonna have a really fun time. So it is going to be a good show. I'm super excited about it. I hope people come see it. If you are in the Grand Forks area, definitely if you're near-ish and you want to make a little road trip, it's definitely going to be worth it. We're going to have such a great time. We've been having such fun in rehearsals, and now it's getting to the part where we've got all the props and we're starting to incorporate all of that, and it's just so fun. We're having so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour. I'm gonna go home. I am gonna shower. I'm ready for a shower. Yeah, so I don't, for more theatrical shows like this, I've been doing a lot more lately. I usually, every once in a while, if there's something that really catches my eye, I've done a few shows that I've been in, like on stage. And then this is the second show that I've directed on my own. I've co-directed a couple of shows with a friend. And I've been in a few shows. I mostly do drag shows, so that's the big thing that I do. But so usually I'm doing drag shows, but every once in a while I do like to step into this more theatrical world. So I do enjoy, I love live theater. I love to watch it. Sometimes I like to be in it. I recognize my limited skill set, so I don't audition for like every single show. But there are certain things, there's, a couple bucket list roles that I've got in mind. And so, yeah. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We love to get rickrolled. We're here for it. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna see if I can remember my intro. Replay crew, you rock. Don't forget, if you were here in the live, don't forget to circle back around in a few minutes once the video is made public again after I shut down the live. Definitely come back and leave a comment down below to feed the algorithm. While you're down there, don't forget that you can give me that thumbs up to tell me that you appreciated the video, or if you were like, girl, we are so tired of hearing you talk about this show, we don't need to hear about your hobbies, go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. While you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I try really hard to have at least one upload or live a week. And if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh. Not labtastic. I did theaterific yesterday, so I had to change it up. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website. Just pretend it's there. The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Yes, Deanne, I'm sure you'll catch the replay. Thank you. I appreciate it. By sitting like a buttered sausage. I feel like a buttered sausage right now. Yes, have a good night. Break a leg. Thank you. We appreciate it. So yes, thank you everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but it's like I said, I've got very few brain cells left and they're starting to fight. So I'm going to get going, but we'll have something soon. If you like glam, geek, and gore, check out my channel. We'd love to have you subscribe, all of you who stop by. So have a good day, and until I see you again, enjoy the superb owl or whatever is happening today, the football thing. Goal! Home run. All right, I hope everybody has a lovely day, and until I see you again, bye. All right, now the awkward shutting down. Okay, bye.